Well, first of all, just tell me just basically anything going on in the city.
No, tons of stuff going on. Yeah, a lot of good. We've got our strategic plan up and running and moving forward. We're working on the budget. That's going to be challenging. We have to figure out how we're going to make up a little bit of a gap that we have, a big gap that we have. We are getting lots of projects in. Our last year's revenues from planning have been the highest in 7 years, and in the first few months of this year, we've already surpassed last year. So we're really on course to do really well.
Okay.
We've gotten the time it takes to get a permit down by 7 days, or 7 days. Commercial, residential average of 7 days. At some point it was way up there, way up there. So that's major good development. What else is happening? Just really we're working on our website. We're looking at how we can have more data available to the public so that the public will have access to information easily. So, right now it's all about, having data available and having some analytics with the data. We're working on that. We're about to, we're going to purchase something called, what's the name of that? Something town hall, virtual town hall. That will be, we'll be able to load up onto our website. We'll be able to ask residents questions, and they can weigh in on how they feel about certain things, and how they'd like us to spend their money as we're going through budget. So it's going to be a place where we can have ongoing dialogue with the residents. Pretty cool. Lots of stuff. And then, of course, the big meeting this afternoon on parking. Yeah.
Were you surprised some of the negative reaction from that email that went out last week? I know you said you were concerned the way it was written, the one that went out.
Yeah, we have always thought of this as a time to get input from the businesses and the residents on this. We haven't brought it to the commission. Nothing's etched in stone. This is really one of those times where we're looking for community input. And we hope that we'll have the opportunity today to talk about some of our accomplishments and then some of the things that we'd like to do in the future, and talk about how we're going to finance those. And I don't think a lot of people understand that parking is an enterprise zone. So the money they bring in funds what they do. None of the money in parking goes to the general fund. When you put money in the meter, it goes directly to the parking department, parking enterprise fund, to be put back into the parking system. And I think some people think that, we're taking all this money and doing, putting it in the general fund. That's not at all accurate. But there are a lot of things we want to do. We want to be able to have smart meters so that we know when a space is vacated, so we can keep track of it on a mobile app. And so when you come to downtown, you want to know where the spaces are, you'd be able to do that because we have smart meters that can tell when cars go in and out. We know that we're going to lose something like 500 spaces in the next couple of years with the Convention Center Hotel, with our hotel, and we've got to think about how we're going to accommodate that. Now, we have a lot of parking in downtown West Palm Beach, a lot of parking. And anytime we've had parking studies done, people have said we're overparked. We have to take care of our garages. Banyan Street Garage could certainly use some sprucing up. So we have to figure out how we're going to finance that.
The tent site, now that a couple of the companies have publicly acknowledged their negotiations.
Yeah, I'm going to get some more.
Okay.
Go ahead, I can listen and do it.
So how do negotiations change now that they went from being confidential to out there in the public? How does that change things?
Well, I'm not sure it has. We have outlined a list of information that we would like from each company that's interested, and we are sending them to the people who have expressed interest. And we're asking them to complete it and get us all the information that we're asking for, and then we'll proceed from there. The unfortunate part is, because we haven't done an RFQ, there might be other people out there who don't even know we're doing this, who might be interested and haven't come in and asked for confidentiality. So we don't have the protections that an RFQ gives us in terms of anti-lobbying and the outreach that an RFQ gives you. So we don't know what could be out there that might be good, that don't even know that we're doing this.
So you're going to continue to push for an RFQ?
The commission has said that they don't want to do that, and until they're ready, if they're ever ready to change their mind. Obviously we're going to implement their direction.
Have the companies, you said you're starting to gather information, have they actually sent in formal proposals yet?
No.
None of them?
No. And one of the good things about confidentiality, all of that is confidential.
Right.
So
although the state statute says once they publicly acknowledge something, then it's not confidential. Yeah. We looked up the...
I don't know who's publicly acknowledged what, so...
Well, Related is publicly acknowledged. Michael McCloskey is publicly acknowledged. So then it's no longer confidential.
I don't know. I have to check into it.
What about, would you support any project that involves John Texter? Was he either involved directly or indirectly?
I would not.
You would not? Why not?
Because, I think we've been there. I think, I don't think he was always honest with us. And I think in terms of public perception, it wouldn't be a wise thing to do.
So you would tell the commission that if they came to you and said, we like this company, he might be involved either directly or indirectly? Because it's still their decision, I guess.
It is.
But you would...
I would express my opinion.
The meeting you had on the civility code and public speech and so forth, how did that go, and where do you go from here?
It went really, really well, and all of the participants were excellent. It was a good dialogue. As a matter of fact, I think it's uploaded now on our website. The next step is that we are going to bring in some experts on the First Amendment and the Constitution. Because we have, first of all, the Commission, I and the Commission have lots of questions about what case law says around freedom of speech, what we know what the words in the Constitution are, but what does that really mean? And the committee also had that. So we're going to bring some people in who are experts in that area, and we're going to bring the group together again and have a dialogue around that. Simultaneously, we're going to bring those people in to meet with the commission as well. And then the third meeting will be a joint meeting between the commission and the little panel, the panel that was developed.
That same panel that was there. What about the civility code? That seems to be the one thing everyone just doesn't understand, why they can't address a commissioner by their name.
That is another thing we'll have the lawyers take a look at. Is this legitimate? Can we do this? Is it? And it's really interesting, and I think I told you this last time we spoke. It's pretty standard practice if you go to any other public meeting, governmental meeting, or if you go to the county commission meeting, for example. People are not allowed to address the individual commissioners. They address the chair or the entire commission. And part of the reason is that an individual commissioner has no power unless they're sitting on the commission. And it's a total commission that makes the decision. It's not one individual commissioner. So, you can say names. You just can't direct, the way our code reads at this point, you just can't direct your comments directly to one commissioner.
When I spoke to the League of Cities a year or two ago, they said they had never heard of that in any other city before.
Well, the county does that all the time.
The county also has in their code?
I don't know if they have it in code, but I watched a wonderful meeting, very well conducted, and somebody was directing a comment to an individual commissioner, and the chair said, you direct comments to me or the entire commission, and the person continued to make a comment, and there was no disagreement, no big article in the newspaper. It was standard practice.
So what happens if a resident, has a real concern about an individual commissioner, feels that there's some wrongdoing, they're not acting their job properly, and they want it out there publicly?
Well, you can say that. I mean, you can say, I went to a meeting and Commissioner XYZ said this, and I really disagree with that. And this is why I disagree with that. Or Commissioner XYZ did this, and I don't think that was the right thing to do. That's not addressing the commissioner directly. Addressing the commissioner directly, like, Commissioner, I'm really upset with you because you did A, B, C. But you can tell the whole commission, or me as the chair, Commissioner XYZ said, and I'm not pleased with these actions. You can say that.
So you just can't, the way you have it set up right now, you just can't. So you can say, I have problems with this commissioner. You can say, Commissioners, I have problems with you, Commissioner. Okay.
I can't direct it directly to the commission. You can tell me I'm upset, concerned about what was done in this particular instance, or I think Commissioner XYZ did a really great job at this meeting, and I want to commend her. That you can say that.
Okay. But you're going to review the whole thing.
But we are going to review the whole thing, and I know that was one of the big issues that the committee, the panel discussion really addressed. So, we'll look at it, because we hear that it's confusing, and part of the problem is it's arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
Not arbitrary, that's not the word I want. It's judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be my judgment that you didn't address a commissioner directly, and it might be somebody else's judgment that you did.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fine line, and anytime you get into the fine line business, it's complicated.
Right. I mean, because do you want to be in a situation like Debbie Finney, for example, a resident, she was addressing commissioners, nearly got thrown out of the meeting. She was pretty devastated about it. And she's somebody that's critical of the city, but she's not somebody threatening, cursing, so forth. I mean, do you want to see somebody like that's involved in the city, involved in public life, being thrown out of meetings?
I don't want to see anyone thrown out of a meeting. It is not my preference to throw people out of a meeting. They have a right to speak for 3 minutes, and but they also have a responsibility to do it in a respectful way.
All right, I think that's it.
Okay.
Appreciate it.